Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I'm your host, the one and only, often imitated, never duplicated backyard superstar Tim Vicious. And then Raw, it was in Chicago. Like I've said before, hands down, one of my favorite crowds to have for a wrestling show. Obviously, a little biased, growing up in Philadelphia, so yeah, Philly's number one, no matter what. I'm sorry. Hate to break it to you, but ain't no crowd like a Philly crowd. You don't believe me? Let me put it to you like this. We are so rough and rowdy, we had to have our own fucking jail in the football stadium. Yeah. Anyways, Raw wound up starting out with such a beautiful way. I am still laughing over it when I think about it. oh. Oh. I thought Jericho was good at trolling people, but Vince McMahon pulled out the ultimate troll card. He got everyone all hyped up because, oh my god, they're acknowledging CM Punk chants on the Raw pre-show. What's going to happen? Is Punk going to return? Raw opens up with CM Punk's music. The crowd goes nuts. Huge ovation, like the triumphant hero has finally returned. And out comes Paul Heyman. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I loved it. Oh, man. If anyone can get any kind of heat from a crowd, it's Paul, hands down. No matter what. And Paul came out, CM Punk's music, stood there in the middle of the ring and did one of his infamous Paul Heyman promos. And honestly, if you've never seen any of Paul's work from ECW, when he would come out to address the fans, sign up for the network, go watch ECW, and then you will truly appreciate him doing that even more. But obviously you would do that after you're done watching us. Or before, either way. But anyways, Paul got in there, sat there crisscross just like Punk did. And yes, I wore the Punk shirt today just for that because I had a little idea going for a joke I was going to do, but I missed that opportunity. But anyways, Paul came out crisscross doing that, talking about talking about a former Paul Heyman guy, was the reigning, defending WWE champion for 434 days. And with Paul Heyman at his side, he did that. And, he didn't. And the way he came, what he was out there for, and the way he went from Punk and transitioned was phenomenal. Because he went from saying he didn't put the blame on the fans. It's actually what he said, he put the blame on The Undertaker. Because after he lost to The Undertaker at last year's Mania, that's when it all started for him. And then he went from talking about that to talking about on how Lesnar's going to beat him at WrestleMania, at this coming WrestleMania, which, honestly, I really don't see Lesnar being the one. And also, if they do give him that, I can't speak for anyone else, but I don't think he fucking deserves it. Lesnar, he's one of the part-time players, as I like to call that little trio, between Brock, Dave, and Dewey. They're the part-time players costing WWE millions of dollars, and that's my bad attempt at their dance. But anyways, yeah, I don't see him being worthwhile for it. But Paul wound up calling out Brock Lesnar. And again, bad impression. You know, there goes my bad attempt for an impression. You know, I can do some really good, but Paul, I just can't. Yeah. Anyways, Brock came out and Paul gave him the mic, and all I could think is, why in God's good name, who in creative thought it was a good idea to let Brock have a mic and speak for a minute? For crying out loud, Gunner in TNA does better promos. You know? I would rather sit there and have a conversation with a retarded monkey with Down syndrome than listen to Brock Lesnar try and do a promo. Ugh. Anyways, after he did that, out comes Mark Henry. That was actually really nice. If they can do this right and build it before Mania, you know, they can have Lesnar. I mean, if they do it right, what I think they should do, you know, book a match between Henry and Lesnar like a week or two before Mania. You know, that way you can have them both keep going at it while they're still promoting Lesnar's match with Taker, you know, and then have Lesnar get over on Henry so that way, you know, he comes out looking like a strong, dominant force, you know? Because if they do it like that, I think that could really sell, and that'll wind up putting a lot more butts in seats. You know, as well as, you know, convincing people, hey, this is going to be a match really worth watching. Not just because Undertaker, but because, look at this guy. This guy's carrying around 400 pounds on his back like it's a fucking book bag. You know? Anyways, when Henry came out, Lesnar, he did a running jump off of the steps, and Henry, wham! Wham! Caught him, decked him. Lesnar fell down. He went to go throw him into the steps. Lesnar reversed it, threw Henry into the steps, and then Lesnar ripped out everything. I don't know if this is true or not. I saw it on Twitter. Apparently, when Lesnar was ripping the monitors out of the table, one of them went into the crowd, and apparently one of them caught somebody in the eye. I don't know if it's 100% true or not, or if that's somebody on Twitter just trying to start shit. But if somebody did get caught in the eye, WWE's definitely got a lawsuit on their hands, and they're definitely going to rip Lesnar a new one for that. But anyways, he picked up Henry, 400 plus pounds on his shoulder. You know, obviously I look at him like, damn, that's some serious God-given strength right there. But I'm not that impressed because I've seen him pick up Big Show back when he was 500 plus. You know, and just pick him up, take 2 or 3 steps, and then, wham, hit him with the F5. You know, but seeing him hit Henry with the F5, making the table implode, that was good. That was a good... Got a huge standing pop from the crowd between like, oh my gods and CM Punk chants. You really couldn't tell what was going on with the crowd. Everyone was just like, and yeah, now I'm doing like weird face expressions like Ambrose, so deal with it. Anyways, on with the first match of the night, tag title match, Outlaws versus Usos. Gonna say it now, Usos won, but in all honesty, I don't know. I thought this match should have been at Mania instead, not just on Raw. Because in all honesty, you know, you had the chance to go and build this up, yeah, the Usos beat the Outlaws last week, and it was in like a short little 2-minute match, but, you know, now you could have them be like, no, you guys cheated like that to beat us. No. You want to get these titles, you gotta earn them. And then have them do tag matches after tag matches after tag matches until eventually you get the Mania, and then you have the Outlaws drop the titles to the Usos. That way they can get their quote-unquote WrestleMania moment. that was me. That's just me, though. That's me. That's on how I think. The match itself, it was good and it was solid, which is saying something because I'm not a fan of either tag teams, really. And I'm speaking as a tag team guy. You know, I mean, the Outlaws, they were hot back in the day. They were cool. They were good. Nowadays, it's just like, okay, yeah, what do you got? You do welcome to the doghouse, and if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Alright, seriously, come on. Evolve with the times. You gotta, it's called character development for a reason. Yeah, the Usos, I just really don't like them that much because, they don't do anything to stand out to me. They do the super kicks with the sound, suicide dive, body splash, and shoving their ass in people's faces just like their daddy. Okay, what sets you apart? What sets you apart now? I mean, that's just me though, I don't know. Anyways, like I said, Usos wound up getting the win. It was actually, and I don't know, this may have been me on how I noticed it when they went to go for the win. The one Uso went to do a suicide dive and supposedly did a tag, but the way the camera looked, it looked like this. Now, it didn't actually look like there was a tag made, and they were just playing it as one. But, yeah. Anyways, the one Uso did a suicide dive, the other wound up coming in, taking out Billy Gunn, went up, did the splash, 1, 2, 3, new champs. Congratulations, you guys finally earned the title. Hopefully they don't wind up treating the tag titles like the jobber belts again anytime soon. Next matchup, Big E versus Cesaro. Rematch from last week. And also, real quick, while it's fresh on my mind, everyone that keeps getting mad saying, oh, all WWE's doing is giving us rematch after rematch after rematch. What do you expect? They only have so many people on the active fucking roster, you twits. Seriously. I mean, come on. Anyways, it was actually, for as short as the match was, it was pretty okay. Big E wound up winning by DQ. Big E and Cesaro, they were going at it back and forth for a minute. Cesaro got him, did the Cesaro swing. I counted about 10 to 15 swings on it. Then Swagger came in, Swagger bomb, Big E got the DQ. You know, you could tell there's tension now going on between them. Hopefully this means that, you know, we may wind up getting a Mania match between Swagger and Cesaro, and if that happens, I'm gonna be pretty happy on that because, you know, it's been said before on the Sunday Seg podcast by Kenny Killa himself and Shugs. Swagger works best with big guys. You know, you put a big guy in with Swagger, he's gonna do really good. Cesaro, we already know he can do really good, whether it's with big guys like Swagger or guys like with Sami Zayn's build. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with Sami Zayn, 1, hurt yourself, and 2, go and watch any of Cesaro and Sami Zayn's matches, because those matches, hands down, are some of the best pure wrestling WWE's had in God knows how long. Next matchup, it was the rematch of the fucking century, which I'm really happy on. It was the Shields versus Wyatts, and normally I would say this is something that I would want on a pay-per-view, but on how they ended it, it wound up making a whole lot more sense on why it was on TV instead. They wound up doing, but anyways, first we'll go into the match. You know, the match itself, really good, really nice, solid, crisp. It was just beautiful. It was like watching Elimination Chamber again, just with different, it was just as solid as that one, if you can even believe that. And, you know, some of the big high spots in there was definitely Seth Rollins. Seth, hands down, he is really going to be the huge breakout star when the Shield breaks, because here's the thing. Everyone obviously can tell Roman's going to get one hell of a babyface push when the Shield breaks. Now, more than and they got Dean over here working the whole, yeah, well, I'm U.S. champ. Ain't no one around here good enough to beat me. What do you got? You know, and you got them two button heads, you know, all the time like brothers. You know, like big brother, little brother squabbles. And then you got Seth just sitting there like, you know what? Fuck this. Y'all ain't gonna want to notice me because y'all ain't gonna pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm gonna make y'all listen to me. And he goes into the ring and he winds up putting on a show like you wouldn't fucking believe. You know, case in point, last night, Seth, he wound up taking out Rowan, Harper, and Bray all within a matter of within a minute or less. And he went from doing a suicide dive out the one side of the ring to going to doing it on the other, and then attacking like Bray or Harper in the ring. I don't remember which one, but he was just moving so quick, and it was just, holy shit. You know, you just gotta look at him, you just look and you say, you got talent right, you got a natural athlete on your hands right there. Why are you not pushing him? You don't even have to put him in a main event spot. Put him in a title chase for something. You know? Have him go after the Intercontinental. You know? Have him go and work for the Intercontinental. Even if you're not going to have him win it, just have him go and chase after it. So that way, you know, it gives him more credibility. Anyways, though, as far as with the match itself, again, the match, it was very beautiful. Absolutely loved it. The entire thing, it was great. You know, big spot that wound up coming in there. Seth, he wound up getting he was getting the shit kicked out of him continuously by the Wyatts, and then just as he wound up taking out, I believe it was Rowan, you know, he wound up, they were both doing that slow crawl over to the corner to get the hot tag. You know, Dean climbed down from his corner, went over and started screaming at Bray. Roman was pulling Dean back like, hey, come on, we can't do this now, we can't do this. We gotta go back over, help Seth. And just as Seth got up to go and do the tag, he was like, where the fuck are yous? And then the Wyatts just continued to beat him up until he could eventually get a tag in. Dean wound up coming in. He was getting the same thing done with him. And then Dean, he wound up hitting a beautiful, beautiful DDT. And this is coming from a guy whose finisher was a DDT. That was beautiful. I mean, I'm nothing against Jake Roberts on how he does his DDT. He always has the person land right there on the forehead. Me, I like doing mine where they go on the top of the head. But I pop for the ones on the top of the head a lot louder than I do for the ones over by like the upper part of the head and the forehead. Yeah, but with that, Dean, he started to crawl over, and then just as he was about to reach for Seth just jumped down and was like, fuck it, ain't my shit. And then just started to walk away. Roman went after him. He was like, what the hell's the matter with you? Why ain't you going back? And Seth was just like, I am sick and tired of all of this. I am not going to be the glue that holds us together anymore. And, you know, it's beautiful and completely unexpected. I didn't expect Seth to be the one to be the reason on why they broke up. Everyone kept speculating it was going to be Roman or Dean, you know, and then right out of nowhere, boom, Seth goes and does this and throw it all out. And the only thing I could think of when The second Seth jumped down, all I thought was, A2 Seth Rollins? Yeah. And Roman, he came back in. Roman and Dean put up a hell of a fight. Roman, he did like 2 or 3 Superman punches and then ran outside and did that running drop kick, and then just went into like fucking Super Saiyan mode, that scream thing, and it was just phenomenal, you know. But eventually, as far as with the finish, I got to get to that because I can't spend the whole time talking about this match as much as I'd love to. Bray, he got Dean, gave him a kiss, wham, hit him with the Sister Abigail, got 1, 2, 3. Big thing during that whole part was after Seth jumped down, he just stood on the ramp and watched the whole time. And Cole, Lawler, and JBL, to their credit, actually were playing that. We're actually playing that part really good and selling that, you know. And I give them shit all the time. That's a given. Everyone gives them shit because, in all honesty, I would rather have the NXT commentary team handling Raw and SmackDown. Then again, I just want to see Regal on the mic, period, because Regal's mic skills are phenomenal. And I don't care what anyone says, Alex Riley is really good on commentary. Anyways, that was a beautiful match, phenomenal. And next matchup, it was Fandango Hopper and Summer Rae versus Santino and Emma. Honestly, I just really want to know why is it that they keep on having Fan Booger Flicker and Santino out there when the obvious draw for this little rivalry is between Emma and Summer Rae. Obviously, they're pushing Summer now because she's going to be on the reality show. And Emma, she's getting a push now more so because, you know, NXT getting a wider audience thanks to the network. You know, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. You know, I mean, I watched some of it. I watched the parts where they had Emma and Summer in there. That was it. You know, not to sound pervy or anything saying that, but, you know, that was it, because that's the big thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see, okay, I want to see what these girls can do, if they can really live up to the rep for women's wrestling, kind of thing. You know, but Emma, she did really good. Popped when she did the tarantula, just like Tajiri. See, I can get it right. And she eventually wound up getting the Emma lock, they call it, in on her. And Santino and Emma won. They started doing that, and then the trombone dance. And like I said before, I don't know what it is about with Emma. Something about, I'm not a big fan of comedy gimmicks. Love comedy stories. Especially when you got the dry, serious guys, you know, like Lance Storm with, if I could be serious for a moment in a comedy story, that's beautiful. But if you put a comedy character out there, I don't like comedy characters. Yeah, but anyways, next matchup, it was Christian and Sheamus. I felt sorry for them both because I was really into the match. It was a beautiful match. It was a really good, beautiful match. The crowd was not into it, though. They were doing the boring and CM Punk chants. And I know I've been giving the crowd shit for doing the Punk chants since he left. But I'll give Chicago this one. You know, y'all deserve to do it then. You know, that'd be like having one of Philly's golden boys up and leave and then supposedly get ready to come back, and then he didn't. You know, but as far as with the Sheamus and Christian match, it was really good, really nice. And unfortunately, the only thing that kept staying in my mind the entire time while I was watching it was something Corey Graves wound up deciding to put out there on Twitter, saying that Christian is the same color as Sheamus's hair. So now, the entire time I was watching that, all I could think is, did Sheamus do a rib on Christian and switch out his spray tan for with his hair dye? Because that was the only thing that was staying in my head the entire time watching it. I was just like, oh, what the fuck? No! I'm trying to watch a good match here. And I had that, but anyways, big thing I really liked on that was the fact right out of nowhere, Sheamus, he hit the bro kick on Christian right from the apron. You know, I never expected him to pull it out from there. But all in all, it was a good match. I liked it. Sheamus got the win, 1, 2, 3. You know, it was, you know, as you would expect. And you know they're going to do a build-up between them two at Mania to settle it. Hopefully we'll get a nice, hard-hitting, solid match. Or something to where it credits both of them. You know, like maybe like a cage or a no DQ match or something. Next up, it was an ST Divas match, which should have been a bathroom break match for me, but fortunately I didn't have to go. Bellas versus Alicia and Oksana, and was it wrong for me to actually hope that Oksana wound up messing up something and hurt one of them? Because really, I can't stand the Bellas. You know, the whole, they leave, they go and do their thing, and then they come back, and now they think they're hot shit because on who they're sleeping with. You know, and to make matters worse, the thing that wound up pissing me off the whole time, you know, my timeline got flooded with, where's AJ at? Kind of shit. You know, obviously, she's either A, in the back, or B, at Phil's apartment watching TV. You know, obviously, one or the other. Pick one, people. But, you know, on what I was saying, the big thing that got me mad was, aside from the where's AJ thing that was on my timeline on Twitter, it was, they were talking about on how she did the pipe bomb sometime back, and all I could think is, you know, they didn't push anything on that because she wound up pushing a few buttons and pissed a couple people off in the back, which that's so unprofessional. They decide not to pursue that because she got a couple people mad. Really? If they'd have done that during like the early 2000s with like Lita, Trish, and Victoria, Tori Wilson, and all that, you know, guaranteed they would have, even if one of them would have got mad, they'd have kept going because, you know why? They'd have been professionals. That's the thing. Whereas the Bella Skanks aren't. They get their nuts in a vice because somebody winds up saying something that's the cold hard truth and it offends them. They say, oh, she hurt her feelings. Okay, we're not going to do nothing on that now. I didn't really like watching the match. Yeah, that was the bathroom break match. Honestly, I dozed out. I don't even know who won. But next matchup, it was Del Rio versus Ziggler. Big thing I flipped for was it was two things I noticed. One, when they came back from commercial, they pulled over to the side where the pre and post show group is doing their roundtable discussion, and I noticed because I was looking beyond where the guys that they were talking about, and they had Del Rio's music playing, but just the WWE logo spinning on the Tron. You know? I mean, all I could think is, you guys didn't give Del Rio his video? Wow. Talk about love, huh? You know? But Del Rio came out. Second thing I popped for was Ziggler coming out with Aaron Paul, Jesse from Breaking Bad, because all I could think is, you know, if Breaking Bad was still around, if Breaking Bad was still on, they so could have wound up doing a couple references. Just have him go and grab a couple guys and just be like, all right, come on. Just be like, yo, like Mr. White said, we got work to do, bitch. And go and do that, you know? But Aaron Paul came out. He was actually pretty nice on commentary, you know? Like what you would expect, being green around the gills on there, on the mic, you know? But it was expected. And I know a lot of people always give shit. Some people give shit about the fact that, you know, some celebrities who probably don't know anything on the sport are hosting shows. How is that best for business? Here's the thing, people. It credits both of them, because you have the celebrity endorsement for your show, whereas also the celebrity you have your show also promote what the celebrity is there for. It's a win-win, you know, because here's the thing with the celebrity endorsement, you're going to wind up having people thinking, oh, well, this guy likes this show. It must be worth checking out. And they'll go and do that. You know, but on with the match, the Ziggler and Del Rio match was pretty good. You know, and everyone gives Del Rio shit. Here's the thing. I give him shit, but it's because of the character. Not the wrestler and not the man. Del Rio is a phenomenal wrestler. I absolutely love watching his in-ring action. I just don't like the gimmick. It's way too two-dimensional and too bland, you know? You know, develop it, make it more. It was like when he was a face, you know, it wound up adding a whole new take on him, you know? But now he's back to heel. I don't know what you guys are planning on doing with him. I hope that they do something good with him, though. You know, but Ziggler got the win because Aaron Paul wound up getting up on the table, was yelling and calling out Del Rio like, yeah, I'm right here. Come on. Ziggler wound up coming around, tried going for the sleeper. Del Rio tossed him off, and then Ziggler, wham, caught him with the zigzag. 1, 2, 3, that was it. Ziggy won, and that was that. Next match, it was Bryan and Batista, and honestly, big thing I was surprised on more than anything was, before that, earlier in the show, Batista got asked how does he feel about with the fans' reactions on him and all, you know, cheering for guys that aren't like him, and he was saying, yeah, they cheer for, yeah, they all like their comic books and sci-fi movies, they're nerds. Remind me again, Dave, what movie you just finished wrapping up and are going to be promoting during the summer? It's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Yeah, that's a comic book movie. That could also be classified as a sci-fi movie. And wait, well, hold. The movie you did before that was Riddick, where you were a bounty hunter looking for him, and that was a sci-fi movie. The only kind of genre that you didn't rip on was the kung fu one, and you know, if you were going to do that, I'm pretty sure you'd have had people go on you for Man with the Iron Fist. But anyways, the match itself, what you'd expect. Bryan did his best to help try and put Dave over, you know, but seriously, Dave looks like he doesn't have enough gas in his tank. You know, have him start upping his cardio. Excuse me. You gotta have the man start upping his cardio to build stamina, and have him send him to the performance center and have him work in the ring. Check your ego at the door, Dave. You know, you've been out of the ring for about 4 years now. You know, you're not in ring shape. I've been out of the ring for coming on 3 years on Halloween. You know, and you know, I know for a fact, talking in a hypothetical if, not saying maybe if, but hypothetical if I ever did go back, I would go and spend like 6 months prior to that match getting back in ring shape. You know, be like, okay, yeah, I need to go and do this again. I need to be able to work. you know, aside from the fact that, you know, I would wind up having to go, I'd wind up running and jogging and sprinting everywhere and anywhere I could, just so that way I could build up stamina. Ric Flair had the most beautiful idea when it came to him, when it came for wrestling, you know? You know, it's obviously, yeah, you work out, you know, you gotta have muscle on you. But he would do so much cardio, you know? He would, you know, and guys would even say, you know, he had a Stairmaster at home, you know, and he would have a Stairmaster at his home, and you know, they would go and do them with Flair. They'd hit like 20 or 30. They'd hit like 20 or 30 flights on the steps. That they would be drenched in sweat and out of breath. Flair, he'd be on 50 and he wouldn't even break a sweat. You know? You gotta seriously do a shit ton of cardio so that way you can build up endurance and stamina. That is the key on it. That's my but that's my philosophy, that's my idea. You know? I think Dick Flair, that's the only good thing I've seen him do. And I call him that just because I kind of go with Shane Douglas on how he was. You know, not letting certain people get over. But, anyways, back to the Batista-Bryan thing. You know, Bryan wound up winning by DQ. You know, Tripp, Steph, and Kane came out. You know, Bryan, he wound up kicking Kane, which tossed him on the Hunter. They came in, they started beating him up. And then Hunter, he had the mic, looked down over at Bryan. You know, I'm getting really sick and tired of your crap. Wham! Bryan just kicked him. Next thing you know, Hunter, he picked him up, hooked him, pedigree. You know, obviously now they're building up for Hunter and Bryan at Mania, which I'm not gonna lie, now that you think about it, it's slowly starting to make more sense now that they're developing the story. And I know I was given shit before about on how the story's interchangeable, but it seems like now they're actually taking the time to personalize this aspect of it. You know, that Bryan is just he's getting closer and closer and getting this close to winning the title. And then he winds up, somebody comes out and stops him. You know? Yeah, if somebody in WWE really is watching this, I hope that you guys really are, and I hope you guys are bothering to take the time to actually acknowledge that, you know, you gotta have the stories just about damn near custom tailored for the wrestlers, not just make a generic story and say, okay, we're gonna put you and you in it now. But, you know, I'm hoping that it's gonna be I'm looking forward to Mania, and I'm hoping that when they do make this match, that it's gonna be a good one, you know? Anyways, that's all the time for this week's video, so like I always tell y'all to do, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch all the other episodes, look for me on Twitter at TimVicious, look for my backup account, Tim_Vicious, I get put in Twitter jail every now and again. Haven't been in there in a while, so I'm pretty sure I deserve a gold star or a cookie or something. Also, make sure all y'all check out all these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. My brother from another mother, James Belmont, JX2001. That Roxy Girl _ it's V bitch. Roxy and Vicky both have their own YouTube channels. Also, on a side note, me and Roxy, we guest starred on the Sunday Seg podcast earlier this week. Make sure y'all look for them on Twitter. They're on this list also. Make sure you listen to that podcast. It was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. Kenny, sorry, I spaced out and I wound up drawing a blank when you asked me about with the Young and O'Neal match for Chamber, and I just went into boo. But anyways, also look for I Am Danny Sunday, Mucky Mars, Helen Robinson 82, Axel Mulligan. Make sure y'all check out Axel Mulligan's blogs on Raw, SmackDown, NXT pay-per-views. Also look for his blogs on WrestlingRambles.com Since SmackDown's coming up on its 15th anniversary, he's talking about 15 best moments in SmackDown history. I absolutely love reading them. He's a hell of an educated fan. Always a pleasure to talk with on the business. Sunday Said, like I said, make sure y'all listen to that podcast. Kenny, love being on the show. Also, going to be on there March 30th. Make sure y'all listen there. I'm going to be on there with Vicky and Ollie Ben on there as well. Also look for Simply Sabrina, Cranky Asshole, Legion Lady Aaron, Oliver Ben, Just a Stupid Mark. Make sure you also check out Ollie Ben's and Mask Mark's TNA Turnaround. Always a great show, always laughs. You know, and like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.